Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. So I was just playing with some of my die cuts here, and I cut out a couple of these little tiny gnomes. This came with a little packet. What did I do with it? Here they are. Yeah, so I just went through and cut out some of these little gnomes. I think the holidays are approaching a little too quickly. So yeah, I have a lot to do. Here are some snowflakes that I cut out as well via my Gemini Mini over here. And next I'm going to do some of these little gift boxes. Okay, it's a little die cut. So anyway, yeah, I was just playing with some stuff here on my desk, but today I want to make some boxes because I usually make gifts for the holidays. I don't normally purchase gifts, and because I'm a maker, it's so much easier to do it this way. So yeah, we're going to make a little box, probably, I don't know, it should measure, here let me grab my ruler and I'll tell you what it should measure. It should measure, 8.5, a little more than 8.5 by 5 inches, okay? And it's really simple to do. We'll try to do 2 boxes, okay? I'll do one that's 6 by 6. It's a little bit taller, more square, and this one's going to be more of a rectangle, so it'll be about 8.5 by, I don't know, 6 or so. So I'm just going to score right here on 9 on this 12 by 12 glitter paper. Okay, so this is what the front side looks like. Very shiny, very pretty. And yeah, I just scored right on the 9, and I'm going to cut that away. So basically we're removing 3 inches off of a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and this is just one way to make a box. I'm sure there are dozens of ways on the internet out there, but this is just one way that I'm going to make this box today. So I've removed my 3-inch strip. I'll put that aside and probably use it somewhere else later. So then I rotate my paper on the 12 side. So 12 is across the top, 9 is down the side right here. And I'm going to score it at 1 and, let's see, 1 3/4, right about here. And this is very thick paper, so I'm going to double score it just to make sure I'm getting a nice groove on there. And then the other score mark would be at 10 3/8. Okay, so that's where we want to score. We've scored over here at 1 3/4, and then over here at 10 3/8. Okay, then we're going to rotate our paper 1 turn to the right, and we're going to score at 1 7/8. And then we're going to score at 7 1/8. Okay, so this is what our paper should look like, scored, marked. Okay, so now we're going to cut along these strips on, or these score marks, to create little flaps on this side right here. I'm just going to cut right up to that first score mark on the bottom and on the top, or it really doesn't matter, top or bottom, just however you're holding the paper. You're going to score these little strips right here. I'm sorry, cut these little score marks right here. Okay, so now we're going to fold up our paper on both sides. And if you want to cover the inside of your box, this will be the time to do it, now that you have all your marks made and the right sizing. So now you can tell like how much paper you're going to need to cover up the inside of the box. I'm not going to, just because the inside of the box is white and I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, I'm just going to fold up these score marks that we made on both sides of this box, and then we'll have something that looks a little bit like this right here. Alright, so using Fabrifix glue, excuse my arm, I'm just going to apply lots of glue on all the flaps. I know it's hard to see, but I'm just putting little streams of glue right through this flap over here, and I'll do the same to this flap over here, and I'll do the same thing for this side as well. I hope you guys can see this, because sometimes I tend to get out of frame and not realize it, but yeah, I think y'all can see what I'm doing. So anyway, guys, it is approaching the holidays, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving and shopped local and did some Cyber Monday shopping, because that's where the deals are. If you go to Etsy on Cyber Monday, you probably got some really good deals. So yeah, yeah, this is the holiday season, so I always try to shop homemade or handmade. So yeah, I tend to shop a lot on those sites that are made by makers, where items are made by makers. I'm just gonna clip these in place, because the gift always means so much more when it's handmade or homemade, and that's why I make these little boxes, because regardless of what gift I'm giving, I can always say like part of the gift was made by me, right? By hand, regardless of what it is. So, yep, I'm just gluing up these sides of this box and clipping it in place to hold the Fabrifix until it dries, and trying to get my box just as even as possible and like level, right? Because you don't want your sides bowing out too much. You want to keep it level. So a nice flat surface is probably the best way to go. And this will just sit and dry for a few. I think all my score marks are pretty crisp. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this sit and dry just for a few minutes while we work on a lid for this box. Okay, now you can do the standard lid that just goes right over it. You just you would just make the same shape, a little bit bigger, like by an eighth of an inch all the way around, and then that'll be your lid. I'm gonna do something a little bit different, which will require the lid to flap over. So let me grab some more of this silver paper. This won't be enough, and then we can make the lid to that box. Okay guys, so here is my page that I'm going to be using for the lid. It's some snowflakes in that silvery foil on the single-sided decorated paper. I'm going to score it 8 7/8, and then I'm going to rotate my paper and score it at 9. Okay, and then I'm going to use my guillotine to cut that off. So we're removing both the 8 and the 7/8 score mark, which is this one right here, and we're removing the 9. And then we're going to bring back in our scoreboard and score this piece to fit the box. So this side right here is my 9 side, And then this side right here is my 8 7/8 side. So I'm going to just flip it over. It's on the 9, and I'm going to score at 1 5/8. Whoops. And 7 inches. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So because this is a lid, I want this to be a little bit more reinforced. Here, let me just fold over my score marks so you can see. Okay, this is the lid. Here is the box. The box is pretty sturdy. I used some really heavy-duty cardstock for this, plus the glitter helps. So it's a little bit extra thick, but this is how your box will close. And because I want my lid to be a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more secure, I will reinforce this paper right here with some plain white cardstock. Okay, so I found some 12 by 12 craft paper in cardstock. So I'm going to use this. It's just a little bit thicker than standard cardstock, and it'll really strengthen my my lid a little bit. So I'm going to use the same measurements that I placed on here, which was 1 7/8 or 1 5/8 and 7. 1 5/8 and 7. And we also cut it at 8 7/8 and on 9 on this side. Okay. So I'm just talking out loud, but yeah, I'm just rescoring all my score marks that I made from the previous paper, because we're going to just double up this paper with craft card. So let me go ahead and cut this with my guillotine. Here we are removing the 9 side. Oops. And the 8 7/8 side. Okay, I'll save that to play with later. And I'm just going to fold my score marks. And we're going to glue these two together to make one sheet. Okay, so they go like this. Elmer's All-Purpose. And my little half of a glue mat here. I'll just try to get glue only on the paper. Alright, so I'm just doubling up this paper to make it a little bit more sturdy. And by doing so, I'm using Elmer's All-Purpose Glue Stick. It's a permanent glue and it's safe for photos, so it's definitely safe for this project. I'm trying to get as much glue onto the paper as possible. And then I will add my cardstock. So here we go. Just to make sure that everything is nice and tacky, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right over here. I want everything to be like really super adhered to each other. So I'm just going to start off with a little bit of glue on the other paper as well to make sure that everything is nice and tacky. So I'm going to place this down directly up here and follow my score mark all the way around. Well, I'm glad that the cardstock, the craft paper, is a little bit smaller. Maybe Yeah, maybe it was me. Maybe I scored it on the wrong side. I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter now. It's all great, okay? But when you're working on the fly and you realize that your project needs to be reinforced, you double down and figure it out. So here I'm just applying enough glue on this side as well for tackiness, and gonna glue this down just like so. All right, so yes, I can see now that the mistake was mine. I scored it on the wrong side after cutting it, so it does not really matter. Only thing I would do is remove this excess piece right over here. So let me just fold my score marks. Okay, getting it nice and even, and then I'm gonna just guillotine off this excess piece over here. And this is the beauty about making things handmade, you know? Mistakes are allowed, guys. Do you think if I worked in a box making factory, this is allowed? Not a chance. Quality check number 13 would come around and be like, your box making skills suck. So yeah, I'd be fired on the spot. But this is the best about making things handmade, homemade. Mistakes are allowed. And they're okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. You know, no one died. This is just paper and glue. Here's our box. Here's the back of our box, which will go like so. And once my glue dries, this will all become very sturdy and reinforced. So I'm just gonna add some glue right back here. And this is our front flap, the lid for the box. So let's just do that. I'm going to use Fabrifix glue. Oh boy, I hope my Fabrifix isn't clogged, because I need a lot of glue. I'm going to set this down for a second and use some glue stick first, and then whatever the Fabrifix does after that is extra. So, yep, that should work out. Always double down on your glue if you have to, especially if you're gluing in awkward places that are not a flat surface or that you can clip. So yeah, doubling up on the glue is a great idea. And I'm just going to get Fabrifix like all over the edges, because that's the important section. The glue stick will take care of the center, but yeah, I just want to make sure I get these edges nice and glued. And come on, Fabrifix, I know you want to play. Come on out. 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 My glue is stubborn. Oh boy. Okay. I think I got enough on there. And here is where I'm going to place my lid. Right about there. So here we go. Here's our little box with our little lid closure. And again, this would be great for adding anything. You can actually fit a junk journal in here. So here, let me just fold this back and clip it so that my glue adheres to the backing. So this is about 9 by 5, and I want to say 5 1/4, a little more than that, 5 1/2 maybe. and this side measures about 9 inches. All right, so if you want to put a closure on here, now would be the time to do so. I am going to just do a little Velcro dot because that is the easiest way to close up a project or to add a closure to a project. So I just take my little strip of Velcro dots and seal them up and then cut one away. Okay, I want to get this nice and straight because wherever I place it, it's where it's going to live. So I'm going to get that straight on there. Peel it back. I like my fuzzy side to be the removable side, and so like that's hook and loops, right? So I like the loops, like the carpet loops, to be the movable section, and then the hook sides is a course that should be probably stationary because you don't want to hurt yourself on some Velcro. So while that's drying, I will remove my little books out of here. Again, they can fit in the box. It's just that everything is a little tacky still, a little wonky. So, but this is how it would close up, just like so. Okay, and then of course you can take some twine. I have some down here. And tie up your little present. And the more random the twine is around the box, the more ornate it looks and a little bit more homemade. So yeah, there we go. All right, so there's one box all made, ready to go. You kind of, depending on what you're packaging, if it's a food item, maybe some cookies, or you do want some breathable space around the box. That's why I did not put a lid on the sides. But if it's a journal or something like that, I think this would make a great little gift, and then you can put in there the note from a bookmaker so that when they open it, they're like, what is this? And then they can read exactly what a junk journal is all about. All right, so for our next box, I'm going to do a 6x6 really quickly. And this is a 12x12 sheet of chipboard. So this was a 12x12 sheet, okay? And on either side, I removed 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And then I rotated my paper or chipboard, and then I removed a 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Okay, so on one side you're cutting off 1/8 of an inch on either side. You're going to turn your paper 1/4 turn and remove 1/4 of an inch on either side. And then you're going to butt your piece of chipboard, regardless of what side you finish cutting on. You're just going to butt it up against the scoreboard, and I scored here at 2 3/4 and 8 1/2. For some reason that sounds familiar. I think I wrote that down somewhere. Anyway, scoring here 2 3/4 and 8 1/2, and then you're going to rotate your paper 1/4 turn to the right, and you're going to score at 2 7/8 and 8 7/8. All right, and now this section right here should be a square measuring 6 inches. Then you're just going to take your chipboard box and fold it up the same way that we made the previous box. And now we have this cute little 6x6 box with 2.5 inch sides, roughly 2.5 inches, almost 3. Okay, and yeah, I'm just gonna go in with Fabrifix. Do I want to cover this? Wait a minute. I think I want to cover this paper. This chipboard up. Let's see. have some bells here. So that should go there. This will go directly on top of it. Whoops. Okay, here we go. I'm lining it up to be even with the paper. So there's no overhang, nothing to cut away at the end other than these two sides right here. Okay. Grab a dry wipes and just wipe away the excess. Okay. So because my my chipboard's already scored, I'll just be folding over this paper once it dries. So now we have a nice cover on the outside of this box. This way you know you're getting a straight line, but I'm just gonna cut it off with my scissor. I will need to find my craft knife though, because I need to cut these 4 marks in between. In order for my paper to fold. So much is on my desk. I need to take a day and really clean this place up. Okay, my knife was exactly where I thought it was. It was just buried under piles and piles of stuff. So all I'm really going to do, first of all, slide this back so I don't hurt myself. I'm just going to score directly. I'm just going to score directly in between the cut marks that we made on the chipboard. Okay, so now we have a perfectly same cut marks from the chipboard to the paper. And I'm not sure if I told you guys this, but yeah, you were cutting up the box the same way that we cut the previous box, and creating little flaps in the corners. Okay. And then this will fold up the exact same way and fold inward and fold inward. Yep, so now we have this really nicely covered Christmas box. Okay, it would look like so. I do have to go back in to these little edges right here with my Fabrifix and tighten up all of those glue marks or glue spots. But yeah, the outside of our box looks like so. This is just the couple of the tedious parts that goes along with wrapping a box. And you're probably thinking like, okay, wait a minute. You just spent all this time, effort, energy, and resources to make a box that you can probably purchase at the store for a fraction of the price. Well, the person that's getting this box will probably save my box and reuse it, whereas the one that you purchase from a store will probably end up in the landfill. That's the difference. Like, you know, you make things so that they not so much last, but they're reusable, and things don't end up in the landfills or in the trash. You can easily go buy a plastic box and plastic is eating away at our planet. So just a little bit of food for thought. The time that I did spend to make this box was enjoyable. I'm not complaining. Like, it didn't cost me anything other than my time and some of the stuff that I already own. So why not? So now we'll just glue this all up together, and that's my 2 cents, and I'm gonna get off the soapbox. I'm just gonna glue this up right here like this, and then we would have ourselves a nice little box. Now to make the lid for this box, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I am going to take another piece of chipboard, and the lid for this box is going to be like a gateway. Okay, it's gonna fold over like so. So the thing that I do need from this box here is the measurements from this side to this side. And this side right here measures a cool 2 and I want to say 5/8. And this side over here should measure about the same, 2 and 5/8. Okay. So that's what I want for my excess. And then this section right here is 6 inches, so I need 3 inches on either side. And I know none of this makes any sense right now, but it will once we get started. So I'm going to cut a strip that is 6 by, let's see, I'm going to cut a strip from this 12 by 12 that measures 6 by 12. Okay. Right. I'm going to cut this down to 6 inches, 6 by 12. And then what's going to happen is this will be the lid section right in here. Okay. So what I want to do now is score, or at least pen mark. I can put a pen mark right where I want my score marks to be for this folding section. Okay, and take this to my scoreboard and score it. So this ends up being just under 3, and so it's 2 and 7/8 right. Whoops, right here. Where is it? It's hard to find underneath this on this chipboard. So 2 and 7/8 right there. And 9. Come on. Oh dear. Okay. 2 and 7/8 and 9. And right in between here should be a little, just about 6 inches. Okay, and now I'm just going to put a little pen mark at 6 because that's where I'm going to cut it with my guillotine. I'm just going to cut it down the middle to create that gateway that I was telling you about. And then we will wrap this one as well in some pretty paper. Wondering if I should do that now. Nope, I'll just do it afterwards. So I used this paper for this one. I think I will use, let's use some gold. That'll look pretty. Yeah, let's just use some gold paper to wrap this one. Or, yeah, gold will do. So I'm just going to, again, just apply glue everywhere along the edges here. And I know it's 12 by 6, so I'm just going to line this up with my scoring board and glue all the way down to 6. And then in the middle here, I'll use glue stick just to smush everything out. And again, this is just Elmer's all-purpose glue. Safe for photos and permanent. So I think it's permanent. I hope it's permanent. So yeah, I'm just gonna glue this down like that. Whoops. Just getting glue everywhere, right? Up to 6 inches, all the way across 12. And our little cardstock will go here. Slide that over to the 6 mark. And then this one as well. Just going to put a little bit more Fabrifix down here in the corner. Okay. Okay, so now we have our lid all covered. There's a couple of different ways you can do this, but as I play this out in my mind, again, I thought I wrote down these instructions, but apparently I didn't. So this was just on the whim, on the fly, on how to make this happen. So I'm just cutting away the excess 12 by 12 paper. Okay. Sliding my chipboard into place. And that's fine. I'm going to cut right along that line right there with my craft knife. Separating these two sides from each other. Okay, so here we go. I'm letting that glue just dry in place. And here we go. So this is now our lid. As my box is drying right here, I'm just gonna show you guys how this would go. Again, we would glue down this side to here. Okay. And we would glue down this side to here. And now we have a little gateway box that opens like so. And for closure, I would do one of these. So here I have these little Christmas trees. I picked these up in a pack of 8 from the dollar store. So I have all of these little Christmas trees, right, that I can play with. And you can cover them with paper. I covered it with paper, and then I put on some flat back pearls on there from another dollar store item that I picked up. And then I had this, it's like a roll of berry garland. So I just wrap that around the tree with some Fabrifix glue, my flat back pearls, and here we have ourselves a little closure for this box. It would only be glued down on one side. Only one side would be necessary to glue it down. Oh, and on the back of this I also inked it with a couple of different inks. So you can just do that if you don't want to cover up your paper with, cover up your wood block, your wood tree with paper and then do all of this decorations. You can just go in with some ink and just ink the tree in, you know, a blend of colors. I use pine needles, peeled paint, and shutters, shabby shutters. Okay, and yeah, I would then glue this down halfway, so on the half mark, straight up here, and on the one side only. Glue it down, and this would help it stay shut on its own through gravity. Okay. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Through gravity it will stay shut, so like that. All right, now I may not use this particular tree on this particular box, but yeah, I have 7 more that I can play with. I can either just do it with ink on one side, I can leave it plain, wrap some twine around it. I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? So here, let me just glue up this side of the box. Whoa, Fabrifix, come on. Okay. I think my Sugar Bell piping bottle, again, is clogged. I've been using it a lot lately on all of my little projects that I took with me to the fair. So, yeah, this is just probably just a little bit clogged. So again, I will then take this side and use some glue stick just to get everything nice and tacky. And you do this because this is the side of the project that cannot be clipped. You know, once you put this on here, there's no way to clip this down in place. So you just have to rely on it doing its thing. So you get your glue nice and tacky. I do need to put my clips back on the sides here. Okay. And then do the same thing for this other side. So again, I'm going to go in with glue stick on this side. Okay. I'll even put a little right here. Always double down on your glue if this is going somewhere. If it's leaving the craft room and going into someone else's hands, you know. You always want everything to like stay permanently in place. Okay. And I'm just gonna pop this down right over here. Now we have this little cute little gateway closure like so. And again, I would then, if I do use one of these Christmas trees as a closure, I would only glue down one side of the tree, just about halfway, and through gravity it will stay shut. But if you want to pop on a little Velcro dot, there's where you would put it. You take your loop and hook, pretty much the same way we did the last one. You glue it, you can glue it onto here, but I just use the tape that's on there, the double-sided tape, and then hook and loop it just like that, and then you have a full closure. All right, guys, I think I've given y'all plenty to play with, plenty of ideas. Go knock yourselves out in your crafting spaces. Have fun today, guys. Go do something super crafty. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for watching my videos, liking my videos, subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell for notifications, and definitely clicking on those links down below in the description box, because I make a small commission from Amazon. And I want to thank y'all. So yeah, stay naturally curious, guys, and have a happy holiday. Bye.